Hello, uh, this is my Java program application. It's called Book Management System. In this program, it can display the list of all books and also can add, edit, delete books details, can search book through the book details, borrow books and display borrowed books, return book, view logs, and student list. And in this library class contains the main method. Inside the main method, there is an instantiation of the class books, and its instance is books. I then set its property set visible into true to show what's in the books class. And this is the book class. All of the classes that I have created are inside the same package, which is the library. And there are several import here to support the functions and classes that I use is outside our package. So my books class extend a JFrame, and constring variable contains our localhost and database, which is the library. I set the username into root and password into none. This borrowed datetime here is used once the borrow table is clicked, and also on the query, which will be explained later. And then this ISBN will be used and the book table is clicked. On queries and on the conditional statement, all classes except library has only one constructor, and all of them initializes the components which are all located on the last part of the classes. And in this constructor, it also initializes two tables, book table and borrow table. In these two initializations, and I am just going to explain the book table since they just have the same code and process. They just differ on naming of variables. So B table, which is a default table model, has assigned to have getBooks method, since this getBooks method returns a default table model. And after getting the result, I then set B table as the model of book table. And this book table is located here, and I will just explain the method getBooks later. And this book and this borrow table mouse click, this event will happen once one of the rows in borrow table is clicked, and once that row is clicked in this line, I tried to get the value that selected row, which is on the port column, and cast it to string. Then assign it to borrowed datetime variable. Then gbutton5 action performed, and this action event is for the button add button here. By clicking this button, it will get the text being input on this text fields, and then this will be our query. Insert data into our table, which is tbl book, and inside this try catch block, I establish a connection to the database by this line, then prepared SQL as a statement, then execute it. I then catch all of the data in book table and display it After that, the program will display a notification, then set the text field text back to none. And the book table mouse click is this mouse event happen will happen when one of the rows in book table is clicked. I got the data in each column and put it into the text fields. I also set the value of ISBN as the value of the first column of the selected row. And this G button 6 action performed here is for this edit button, and once the button is clicked, it will get all the text that input in the text field and put it into its corresponding variable. And then we will have this query to update the table book and set it into its new data. After that, and inside this try catch block, we will connect into the database and prepare statement and execute it. And this is for refresh our reload to reload the book table, and this notification will display and we reset the text field. And this J button action event here is for this delete button, and the same thing in edit button. We will have this query to delete the book. There will be no problem in this to delete the book from the parent table, because I already created a trigger from the database. And inside this try catch block, the same thing, we will connect into the database and prepare the statement and execute it. And this is default table model R. And this is for the refresh and reload for the book table, and this notification will then display, and we will set the text field and we will reset the text field. And this action event here is for this borrow book button, and we get the text into the text field and trim it and we assign it into its variable. I use the trim because if ever the user will input white space or will input or we will or the user will not input anything, and the inputs will be filtered here, and this message will be displayed. And else, if the user will input a valid ID and due date, this query, and we will use this query. And inside this try catch block, we will connect into the database and prepare statement and execute it, and we will reload or refresh the book borrow table, and also this to reload and refresh the book table, and we will set and we will reset the text field. And this action event here is for this borrow I return book button, and we will get the value in this borrowed datetime that I explained while ago and set it into this query. And inside this try catch block, we will connect into the database and set prepare statement and execute query and get its result set. And while there is a result set, we will get the value of the first column and parse it into integer and assign into borrow ID. In this borrow ID we will use this into this query and to insert into table return, and inside this try catch block will then connect into the database and, pre and prepare statement. This prepare statement is for this second connection, and we will execute this query, and this is for the reload or refresh of the borrowed table. And this action event here is for this search button, and we will get the text in the text field and trim it and assign it to two search variable. And if the user will not input anything, or the input are all white spaces, we'll just simply reload or refresh that book table. And else, if there is an input, we will use the to search variable for the parameter of the procedure for the procedure, the p search book that I already created in the database. And inside this try catch block, we will connect into the database and prepare statement. This prepare statement is used in this connection and execute this query and get it, and we will get its result set. And this block of code is for to display the search book, and we have this instantiation of default table model, and from this table we add 5 columns, the ISBN, book name, author, publisher, and date acquired. And while there is a result set, we get the data each row one by one and assign it into its corresponding variable. And then we have that row, and we will create a new array of string, and we will add that row into table. And then we will set a new model of book table into table which contain the search book. And for this is for the transition of the pages. Here we have two methods, the get books and the get borrowed books. Then these two methods have the same process in the logs class and student class. They just differ on the content. So I will just explain the get books method. And the get books method have this instantiation of default table model, and from this table we will add 5 columns, the ISBN, book name, author, publisher, and the date acquired, and we will have this query inside this try catch block. Then we will connect into the database, then we will prepare statement and execute query in this, and we will get its result set. And while there is a result set, we will get the data of each row one by one and assign it into its corresponding variable. And we will have that row, we will create a new array of string and add that row into table, and we will return that table so that it can be used. And now I will explain the database of my application program, Java program application, the book management system. The name of the database is library. Inside the library are tables, views, stored procedure, and triggers. And in tables, I create table book. In table book, I create an attribute ISBN for the book ID, book name, author, publisher, and date acquired. Also, I create a table borrow table. In table borrow table, I create an attribute borrow ID, student ID, ISBN, date, time, and due date. In table return, I create attribute borrow ID and date time. In return table, inside I created an attribute stud ID, L name for last name, if name for first name, and contact number and address. And in views I create two views, the vBarrow and the vlogs. In vBarrow, I create attribute stud ID, student, ISBN, book name, date, time, and due date. In vBarrow, it will display the logs of Barrow, and in vlogs, this will display all the overall records. Uh, Procedure for the search book, I name it p search book, and this is the query. And also in trigger, I create two trigger, remove book and remove barrow. In remove book, this is to remove book and this is the query. And in remove barrow, this is the query of remove barrow. To connect my database into my Java program application, I use a driver for Java SQL connection. I place that driver into this path, and that driver is this, and that explained my Java program application, the book management system. Thank you.